Time for How to ABL. It is Snare Season 9/17/2023. Today is Hero Mutant Female Day, so I'm going to be using Storm with her newest uniform. I have a Rage on her, a Judgment and Anger proc both work, but I feel like Rage seems to penetrate Surtur's defenses better and tends to do a little bit more. There are multiple ways to play Storm. There is mixed feelings on how she should be played best. This is the way that I play her. One of the things to keep in mind is you want to let the 3 go until you see the lightning tornado appear. When the lightning tornado appears, you can cancel into your 5, cancel into your 4. She jumps up, throws her bolt of lightning, and then do 2 and 1 as fillers. Aside from that, you're pretty much doing the same rotation back and forth. Every other rotation, your 6 will be ready, so I cancel my 4 into my 6. Keeping her procs on can be mildly tricky on occasion, especially when you're using her 3. I do have her at a tier 4, so with the striker, I'm going to be using Thor, because Thor tends to be the best striker for ABL because of the elemental damage. For whatever reason, elemental damage does great. I also have him as a tier 4 with the Rage. Having your striker built does help. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. So use your 7 as soon as it's possible, whenever. And I am going to be swap canceling because Storm cannot cancel for today. So I'm going to be swap canceling the Polaris. There is a mild couple of seconds that you are losing damage by swapping, but I find that I score best by swapping versus using a striker cancel. So let me show you that in action, and if you want to stick around, I'll give you additional information afterwards, like the team I have and why and all that good stuff. So 3, Bolt of Lightning, 5, 4. So you see that lightning coming down with the tornado, and then I do a 2, 1. I guess technically you could also do a 1, 2. Notice here I did 5, 4, 7, and 6. Let that finish. She comes down to the ground. You can do a 1, 2 for that splash of ice, which a lot of people prefer the ice spikes to come up. So maybe I should swap those 2 around. I'm not going to switch right away. I'm going to go ahead and use a thing to cancel, and then I'm going to pop 5. As long as he's raising a sword in the air, you can pretty much pull off your cancel. I'm going to start with my 3, 5, 4, 7, 6. Let that finish off. She'll come down to the ground, and then I'll do a 1 and then a 2. Yeah, let me switch that. I think it's better to do the 1 and 2 so that you can get those spikes of ice. I think that does a little bit better on the damage there, in my opinion. I think I used to do 2, 1, and I just didn't update my rotation. Alright, make sure you pay attention to those orbs when they come. You want to get your orbs so that you can get Oathn Force. That's kind of important for maximizing your score for ABL for today. See that top right corner there? Oathn Force gives you 150% extra damage. Pop, 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 pop. Here we go. That was a nice proc. There we go. Make sure that we pick this up. And then pop this here. I should have just enough time before he jumps to the center for his roar to use this ability here. I hate when he jumps away. I'm going to go ahead and try one more time so I can charge up my tier 3. Yeah, okay, I got a little bit more time. Okay, there we go. I knew it was coming up soon. Again, I'm just going to pop a few skills here, and then I'm going to switch, then I'm going to pop the 5 here, and I can switch right back. So you will lose a little bit, and when you can't swap back right away, just use some of your other skills. Here's the 3, 5, 4, 7, 6. Sometimes I got to concentrate, sorry. As I slowly say it, but slam the skills down, right? 3, 5, 4. 1, 2. 3, 5, 4, 7, 6. Alright, last orb right here. 3, 5, 4. With the Oathn Force, we should be breaking 5 mil easy. Ooh, crap. That sucks. Also, my procs are off there. Yeah, keeping her procs on are kind of a pain in the butt, and if you can keep her procs on, you'll do way more damage. So if you can't keep her procs on, do the best you can. If you can keep her procs on, you'll do a lot more. My Storm doesn't have an incredible build. I mean, I've got a reasonable build. Nothing super, super special, but I mean, 5.5 mil is not terrible. I have gotten up to 6 mil with her before, so there is randomness with using her, which sucks, but she is definitely, in my opinion, the meta for today. So let's see, 5,429,058. So let me write that down. I like to track my scores. Let's go ahead and get into my account, how it's built, how my characters are built. We'll talk about teams and alternate teams. All right, so to begin with, here are my cards. So if you want to pause it, the biggest thing to point out here is Pierce. The additional Pierce should be at 25%, so I'm actually losing damage, especially in ABL. Pierce helps a lot, so try to max that out if you can. I don't have it maxed out yet, so it does kind of suck. Here are my X swords, so those are my stats, my X swords. Let me show you my Storm build. Go move this back up to medium. As mentioned, Storm is a tier 4. I do have a Krakoan Summer, which is a seasonal uniform, but it's definitely the best uniform for today, and the rotation I was showing you is for this uniform. So here are her details. As you can see, I've got a lot of stuff overcapped actually, but having all of these at yellow is great. Her energy cannot cap, so you can put as much energy attack in there as possible. Will help your score. I do have everything amplified. I only have one Odin Blessings though. So the Odin's Blessing isn't, I think it's a hit point one too, isn't it? I think this is one of the hit point ones. No, it's an energy skill cooldown. Whoops. So I got an energy skill cooldown on her. She's worth more. You probably want to put Urus at least 5 stars. Not all of mine are 5 stars, but definitely for the energy ones, try to get them 5 to 6 stars just to get the most you can out of attack. So I could build her better. She's still doing okay based upon how I have her built. As I mentioned, Thor is my striker because he tends to do the best, in my opinion, for ABL. You could do a tight match striker, but Thor actually fits that. So you actually get that tight match with him. So he's not only the best choice of striker, but he's also the best choice for ABL, period, regardless of who you're using him with. I will switch back to Professor X because I move Thor around to whoever I'm using for the day for ABL. ISO 8 set, any of the attack sets are fine, just make sure there's 6 red stars. I've got Power of the Angry Hulk, but Overdrive Hawkeyes is all fine. Look at your character, look at your account, see what you need in order to get your stats capped out. Then we have Artifact. I've got an Order Artifact plus 3. I have a Rage on her. It is rolled up to a 0.9. You could reforge it if you want, and like I said, she does work with a Judgment and an Anger proc as well. I had a Judgment on her. I do more with the Rage in ABL. This is pretty much the only day she has because the other ABL day for mutants is not restricted to female mutants, and I have a tendency to score as much or just a little bit more with my tier 3 Cable, although I guess if you play her right, she will outscore a tier 3 Cable. Tier 4 Cable, though, is going to do more than her, but he also only has one day with ABL since he can't do the female day, which is today. So that is my character. Let me show you the team. Let me show you alternate options for today, and we will wrap the video up. Let's see. So I'm going to go over here to Arena, Alliance Battle, Legendary. So Polaris is definitely the best leadership because first and foremost, Mutant allies. So if you go here to Storm, you can see the little X. Hover over, that's Mutant. You can also go to her details page, and you can go over here, and you see that the ally says Mutant. So that makes her a Mutant. That means that her leadership will work. So folks like Quicksilver and I think Scarlet Witch are not considered mutants in this game. So pay attention when you're building your teams that they are in fact getting the benefit from the characters you're using. Polaris gives 45% all attack to mutants, but she also has a passive over here. Mutant allies also do damage dealt to supervillains, which Searcher is considered a supervillain, by 45%. So you got a lead and a support ability there. Then you have Dazzler, who again is going to affect mutants here with her passive. So mutant allies are going to ignore target's dodge rate by 70%, very important for very dodgy characters, but also the increased damage dealt by 65%, which is where I feel like she really shines. I think I have Polaris with my insight. I do. Having insight on one of your characters is pretty important when you're playing any of the AB modes, so I feel like this is the meta team for today. So if you don't have a tier 4 Storm with the Krakoan Winter uniform, you could actually use her at tier 3 with this uniform. She does okay. Obviously, tier 4 is better. You could also use Captain Britain, who's technically Psylocke. It's a uniform for Captain Britain. So if you, yeah, she's Psylocke until you put on this uniform, and it changes the character's name to Captain Britain. It's the same character, but the Psylocke character with Captain Britain does almost as good with a proc, a mind proc, as a tier 3 Storm does with a Judgment, because I've tried this out in the past. Their scores were close, but you do more with Storm. So that's an alternate option that you might consider. The only other two I would consider or think about using for today would of course be Rogue if you have her Excalibur uniform, and I would also consider X-23 with the all-new Wolverine, but none of them are going to do anywhere near as much as you're going to get out of a tier 4 Storm followed by a Captain Britain if you don't have that. You could try Magic. I haven't messed with Magic that much, and Emma Frost is more for PvP, so I wouldn't bother there either. But I mean, you can always experiment with other characters. As far as other supports and leads go, if you don't have Polaris, I feel like Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, has an awesome leadership here, 60% for all basic attacks, but she doesn't have a passive that's helping you out or anything. I don't even think she has one in her uniform. So you're better off using Polaris if you have her, but I mean, she still has a leadership. Yeah, everything is self-buff there. So she has just the leadership option here, where this is leadership and support, so that's why Polaris is a better option there. So yeah, that's who I use, why I use, and other considerations for possible teams. Definitely Storm #1, Captain Britain #2, in my opinion. So if you have a different opinion, feel free to put them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and may your ABL scores be as high as possible.